Today we are counting down our top 10 horror movies for the year of our Lord Nosferatu 2024.
Oh, do you want to play a game?
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
See dead people.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Here's Johnny.
The power of Christ compels you! The power of Christ compels you!
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
Welcome to Talking Horror with Jamie and Nikisha.
Hi, I'm Jamie.
And I'm Nikisha, and this is Talking Horror with Jamie.
And Nikisha.
Where we share our love for all things scary and talk horror through the lens of human behavior. Welcome, everyone! All the fireworks, because the new year is about to be upon us, so you guys know what that means. Today, we are counting down our top 10 horror movies for the year of our Lord Nosferatu 2024. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that.
Oh my God.
So exciting times. We have so many lists. We're going to talk about our top 10. We're going to talk about the top 5 most disappointing. We have some fun categories we want to list out. Things that we're excited for 2025. So stay tuned to see if what is on our list is on your list of the top horror movies for the year 2024. It's exciting times.
Yeah.
Yes. But before we do get into all things, we do have to let producer Brian give us some words.
You have to. We have to let me, or I'll die, or I'll
Yes.
completely melt.
Yes. Combust. Yes.
It's me.
Absolutely.
So yeah. Hi everybody, producer Brian here. Hi YouTube, since you can see our beautiful faces. Just before we even start, and before I tell us where to follow us and stuff like that, thank you so much. We've had so many downloads, so many views, so many streams, so many numbers this year. This is by far our best year yet. And we didn't even record for 2 months because we had some life events. Thank you so much. That is so cool. So everyone listening, thank you so much. And if this is your first time listening, thanks for ending up here. Hi, I'm Brian. That's Jamie. That's Nikisha. And we are so thrilled that you're here, and we hope you join us through 2025. I do want to mention, if you want to follow us elsewhere, you can absolutely follow us at Talk Horror Pod. That it can be found on Instagram, that can be found on TikTok and Blue Sky. I have posted nothing on Blue Sky, so we are primarily a TikTok and Instagram house. But you can follow us on YouTube. Our YouTube is pretty robust as well. So we would love for you to join us there. And then obviously you can find our podcast wherever you get podcasts. But thank you so much for joining. This year was an absolute blast. If anybody was interested, this year we did, I didn't actually count it before actually saying that, which was probably a huge mistake. But this year we did including this episode, 14 plus this is bad content. Thank you for listening to us anyway. 14 plus 32. So we did 46 episodes this year.
Oh my God.
Again, that's not including the episodes we did not record, we usually do more. So thank you all so much. It's super cool. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Yes, it's so exciting. Also, just to think about life that has happened this year, because oh my gosh, you guys have a child.
Who?
We do.
Happened this year.
What?
Oop.
Jason Freddy Plofsky.
Exactly. So many.
We call him Little Jiggy for Jigsaw.
Oh, Little Jiggy. Now
he loves
the only name that I.
He loves puzzles.
Now I know what to get him. for birthdays and Christmases, just puzzles.
Yeah. Well, whenever you come over and give him a gift, you have to like dress as Billy the puppet and be like, "You want to play a game?"
Absolutely. Listen, don't throw me a challenge. I got you. I'll be there. Fantastic. Well, as producer Brian said, thank you guys so much for listening to all of us. We're excited to recap everything for the year. So let's get started with our top 10. And producer Brian is going to let you guys know how we are going to set up giving you guys our top 10.
Yeah, so we're starting with our top 10 because I think the other categories will kind of spoil what we liked, what we didn't like. So I just want to start with what we really liked this year. Let's start on a positive note. There was so much good stuff this year. And anybody always like, oh, horror's not the same as it used to be. Or anyone who's like, oh, this stunk or this,
Shut up.
Oh my God, it scared me.
That scared me too.
I know.
That's what it's all about. The scares.
Yeah,
here.
damn. That was the biggest jump scare all year.
Right.
Yeah. Step aside, old lady on the stage. I should say before we begin, spoiler alert. We're going to probably spoil every single movie that we talk about.
Yes.
But the way that we do it is we all have our top 10 list. We are going to each read our number 10. Then we're going to each read our number 9. Once everybody says a movie once, so for instance, let's just take Night Swim because it's going to be on no one's list.
You don't know that.
You're right,
It
I
could
don't.
be on my list like 10 times.
You're right. Let's take Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2.
There you go.
I loved that movie that I didn't see.
So let's say that Nikisha says Night Swim, and then none of us have Night Swim on our list. We'll talk about Night Swim. But if Nikisha and I say, oh, it's on my list, but not yet, then we'll wait till I say it. So basically, we'll talk about the movie once it's been, quote, maxed out by all three of our lists. We'll stop before we get to number 1. We'll stop to do some of our fun honorable mentions, and then we'll move on from there. But before we begin, I did want to just give a little context for, and I want to go through everyone, give a little bit of context for their year in horror movies. I'll begin. This year I saw 43 horror movies.
Golly.
That is compared to 55 that I watched last year. So I was down this year for obvious reasons. But I'm still proud of those numbers in general. I do want to say the horror movies that I did not see this year that I do think could have potentially impacted my list were Apartment 7A, Love Lies Bleeding. I did not see the Speak No Evil remake. I heard it was good, but also I just want an opinion on that. I did not see Infested or Exuma. Both of those I would have liked to have seen, but honestly, the subtitles are really hard, like with the kid in general. Like I could listen to a lot of horror movies and watch at the same time. I Will Never Leave You Alone, Mads, Lovely Dark Deep, Daddy's Head I did not see, You'll Never Find Me. I didn't see Blink Twice, and I didn't see Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person, and I did not see what's the Terrifier 3.
Oh God. Yeah.
But we will. I've never seen any of them. I think Nikisha's the only one who's seen them, so
Yeah.
we will eventually do them, and we'll ask Horror Chronicles to join us because she just loves talking about them, and maybe I will like it. And we'll talk. I don't know. That's for a future version of us.
Also, Brian, I'm so glad that you said. I'm glad and mad at the same time that you said Love Lies Bleeding because I didn't register that as a horror movie.
Well,
so I didn't
that's
even
up to
put it on
you.
my list.
But I didn't see it, so I didn't know if I would even consider it horror.
Okay,
like if you didn't gut check consider it horror, then like it's on your list because horror is subjective. That's totally fine.
Great. But I just want to put it out there that I did love that movie, guys. So it's definitely worth the watch.
I know.
Watch Love Lies Bleeding.
Yeah, we need
to.
There's
good.
There's a lot of movies we need to catch up on in general, but
great.
So that's my horror year in movies, if you will.
Yeah. What about you, Jamie?
So this year I watched 26 horror movies.
Nice.
That is 2 more from last year. So
Oh,
we're on
nice.
the up and up. Yeah. And definitely after the baby was born, my like ability to focus on movies has definitely dwindled significantly. So I think I certainly lost a lot of time that I might have otherwise spent watching movies. And now that he like is more like aware of lights and phones and TVs, I'm like doing more to just like try not to watch things that he can easily look at. So that also factors into just, time watching stuff. And I'm trying to even just think off the top of my head, like things that might have influenced my list. There's probably a lot. There's a recent one that Brian mentioned watching, Red Room. Is that what it was
Red
called?
Rooms, yeah.
Yeah, which sounded really interesting. So yeah, I'm always lagging behind at this
Same
point in
girl.
the year. So, we'll figure it out at some point.
Yeah.
We'll get there when we get there. But,
Gorgeous.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm around the same as far as like wanting to see a lot more but haven't been able to. But I now counting Love Lies Bleeding, because I will count it. 30. I'm at 30 horror
Oh, nice.
movies, which is cool, fun. But I still think that's less than what I did last year. I want to say I was probably at like 32-ish last year, but 30 this year. And some of the movies that I know probably would have affected my list, because I didn't watch Your Monster. I didn't watch Apartment 7A or Daddy's Head as well. So yeah, and there's some other things that I have on my watch list, but I don't think that would have affected my
Sure.
thing. Like Afraid, I wanted to see it, but I don't think that it would have been on any
It's
of my
streaming
lists.
somewhere now, I just saw.
Oh, cool. Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, I Imaginary I didn't see, but like I don't think that would have affected my list at all.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, like Brian said, there's been such good movies, especially towards the end of the year, which
Yeah.
all of those movies that I've watched, in the October, November, December time frame are like
Totally.
definitely on my list. So yeah, that's it. So do you want to get
Okay.
started?
Yeah, let's get started. Let's do this. I'm very excited. Okay, Nikisha, why don't we start with you?
Yes.
What is number 10 on your best of 2024 list?
Okay, my number 10 is Late Night with the Devil.
Oh, okay. That is not on my list.
Yeah.
Jamie, is that on your list?
No, but I realized that I'm missing it from my like actual list.
Oh.
Oh.
See, there you go.
I knew that I was probably wrong somewhere. But that was a great movie. That's probably an honorable mention for me.
Oh yeah. I mean, that makes
Like
sense.
just shy of the top 10, I think.
So, Nikisha, no one else has it on their list. Why don't you talk about it?
So it was really hard because, gosh, there were so many movies that were so kind of close together in like the ratings that I would give them. And even though Late Night with the Devil, I think we all agreed when we did the episode that the ending was trash, but everything leading up to it was just so good. And I'm just like such a fan of that camera work and how everything was set up, and the storyline of it all, that it was still just so intriguing. So I think that, and I think about like rewatchability, right? It's like in my top 10, like these are movies that I would absolutely watch again. Even though it is a trash ending, it was still eerie and the acting was phenomenal. And like I said, I loved the direction of it. So I still put it on my list because the first hour and 15 still to me make up for like the last 30 minutes.
And also like the Halloween vibes, like watching it in October, I think that's one of the better ones from this year that kind of like gave itself to your October watch list. And I like you said, I think that it's really fun to watch. And then I'm definitely on the side of like that ending spoiled a lot of that movie for me, all the goodwill that built up. But I do think a lot about the Halloween vibes, actually.
Yeah, for sure. was very good.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
Jamie, what's your number 10?
My number 10, hopefully I didn't totally mess my whole list up, is...
I know I'm still like switching around my list. Like, do I really believe this?
No,
You're right.
I'm like, whatever it is, it is. I can't. It's too much.
I'm in my letterbox right now being like, oh, maybe I should switch this.
No,
with
I'm
this.
looking at my letterbox, but I'm like, nope, you're in there, so that's
Yeah.
what it is. My number 10 is Immaculate.
That is not on my list.
No, that's not on my list either.
Oh,
Interesting.
Wow.
I think that this movie resonated with me more having a child.
Sure.
And it's
Fair.
interesting the like impact of like we talked about all of the pregnancy horror and like, you know, mother horror, like all of these themes that seem to be really ramping up these like last 2 years. And I feel like the experience of being pregnant watching this didn't like have this, I don't know, lasting impact as much as like now that I have this child. It's very weird. And I think a lot about that like disturbing birth screaming and like
Yes.
that whole
Sure.
scene. And I'm like, man, having now been through that experience, I'm like, we are one.
Yeah.
And
For
like,
sure.
and then at the end, like her, again, spoilers, but like her, you know, taking that rock and doing what needed to be
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
But like after going through this like whole physical experience, like it's just that is actually terrifying. Like the way that I now think about it is like a really horrifying thing. And I just think Sydney Sweeney did something like really weird and unusual, but like I really dug it. And I'm surprised at like how much I think about it well after watching it.
Fair.
Yeah. I also think about that one in terms of obviously the last 20 minutes are fantastic and she's wonderful. But I also think about it in terms of like when she does do the deed, like it feels very it feels great because in other movies that doesn't happen, like a Rosemary's Baby or something like that.
Yeah.
But I love there's that line in the movie where it's like, you know, like God will come through or something like that. And she's like, because they have all those like the bad babies in the tubes and stuff like that. And they're just like, this is the sign.
Yeah.
Like this, that, like this is like, what are we doing here? This is the sign.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Do you need like Jesus to appear and like be holding a sign that's like stop?
Right.
Yeah, totally.
Right.
And I think what it says about like this religious idea that like you believe so much and faithfully in something that you can't even imagine the sign. It's like that joke. I think we talked about in the episode. It's like that joke where like there's a flood and then like a boat comes by and
Yes.
says, do you want help? Then a helicopter. And then he dies and he gets to heaven. He's like, why didn't you help me? And God was like, I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter. Like, unless God is there, like glowing, whatever. Like, I just thought that was an excellent depiction of kind of that religious concept.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, I definitely, I mean, the only thing that I probably will remember about that is the boulder and doing that thing.
Sure.
But
I also just remember everyone being so weird. It was just like,
yeah.
and I think more like meta of just like her insistence on like creating this project. Like it was really important to her,
Sure.
and that
Yeah.
she was able to get it done. So I admire her like, you know, determination to like get this out there.
Totally.
So yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Okay, my number 10, this was hard. My 11 is super close to 10, but my 10 ended up being Heretic.
Okay.
That's on my list.
That is on my list.
Okay, cool. All right, so those are the 10 spots. Let's move on to the 9 spots. Nikisha, what is in your 9th spot on your list?
Yeah, I'm like still switching things around. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I just
Stop!
switched
Don't do
around.
it! Don't do
I'm
it!
gonna stop now. I'm gonna stop.
Don't do it.
A Quiet Place Day 1.
Okay, that is not on my list.
Okay.
Not on my list.
Okay. Fantastic. I think I'm just in love with Joseph Quinn. So
Great.
That's
Full
fair.
stop. Yeah.
Full stop.
Well, I thought their two acting in that was exceptional. I thought their chemistry,
Mhm.
their platonic chemistry in that was
Mhm.
some of the best I've seen in a movie in a long time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And even though, I think we had this conversation too on the podcast about like, would we have wanted to know like what are the day one rules? I mean, they gave us day one, like what is happening on day one. Were we expecting it to be more like, how did these creatures, like why did they come here and all that stuff? Like maybe some of that background in the movie would have been nice. But yeah, I think I'm just like reeling off of the chemistry between Lupita and Joseph. And I thought it was a
Mhm.
good movie within the installment.
Yeah.
I don't think it
Mhm.
brought down the chain. So I'm excited to see
No.
what other things come from it.
I definitely think it kept the quality of the chain up, and I think that there's some great sequences. The Miracle Cat.
Miracle
And
Cat.
yeah. It's a well-made movie. The
Very.
sound design obviously is great. The whole sequence at the beginning where like it happens and they're in
Mhm.
like that little puppet theater is just like really good stuff. And the when she's reading the like journals or whatever in the apartment and like all that
Yeah.
stuff is pretty emotional with like when it's raining with the thunder. Really cool sequences in that movie for
For
sure.
sure. Yeah, agreed.
Jamie, what's your number 9? Number 9.
Um,
Number 9.
sorry that it's really a similar vibe. My number 9 is The First Omen for almost exactly the same reason. Clearly, having a child has impacted my
Yeah.
brain in some way.
That is on my list.
Okay.
That is not on my list, and it was so
Okay.
close.
All your
But-
rearranging.
I know.
But we are going to talk about it now because it's my number 9 as well.
Oh, gorgeous.
Would you like to start?
Sure. I think it's an excellent movie, and I actually think it would be better if it was not related to the original Omen. I
That's
think
fair.
that if you cut out the end stuff where it's like, I mean, that's not true because the Damien stuff earlier is, but like, regardless, I think it's
all for you.
It's all for you. I think it was a really well acted movie. I think the direction is spectacular. Like when she's kind of having that weird panic attack when the when during the what is it the demonstration gets out of hand.
Oh, yeah. Yes, yes.
Obviously we have the hand out of the vagina sequence.
Oh man, that scene was iconic. I think about that scene a lot too.
So good.
We get the kind of the twist where it's not only the little girl but it's like other people too.
Yes.
That they're experimenting and whatnot. I love that they just recast. They didn't try to do any like CGI de-aging or anything like that, or creating the actor who was in the original Omen movie. They just cast someone else. I think it was Ralph Ineson in it. I just think the tension is there. I think it's a wonderfully made movie, and I put this Immaculate's like 14 on my list, but I chose this one over Immaculate because I think that her water breaking contraction sequence coming out of the car is just like, and her contorting is just exceptional. And I think it loses some points with the jackal and how they do that at the end. Well, Bill Nye is great in it, like not the science guy, the other one. But
Bill Nye, the science guy, the
yeah,
not science guy.
yeah,
Right.
Christmas is all around. But yeah, I thought this was great, Jamie.
Yeah, I agree. I think that scene that you described, where she like seems possessed, is really incredible. Also, the scene where the guy is hit by the car and she
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
the top
Oh,
part of his body off.
I forgot. First of all, it was funny in some ways. It was wonderful in others. I totally forgot that whole subplot of her kind of not like, of her trying to figure out like where she fits in this world and going out at night and then getting drugged and all of that. That could have felt so out of place, but somehow it weaves so well into the story emotionally from her like growth as a person and like figuring out where she like be her journey throughout as a character. And just from like an aesthetically pleasing like Italian nightlife sequence. I thought that was really, really, really good stuff. I totally forgot about that, Jamie.
Yeah, no, I think and it again, I do kind of agree that like did it need to be like so closely tied to the Omen chain? I don't know, but I do think that like just the cult like nature of what the church was doing, and again just like justifying it's like a similar thing, like just using whatever they need to justify their actions, whether or not that like actually makes sense, but it fits what their narrative is, what their purpose is, if you will. So like they make it work for them. I feel like that's a very real thing, and that's why it made my list.
Also, no trailer failure here. Like the trailer was just vibes. Like the first trailer was the first Omen first trailer was all vibes. Didn't spoil anything. Very into it.
Yeah, that night scene, like nightlife scene, is the one that sticks out to me the most.
Yeah, sure.
In that movie, but
and they're like on the dance floor, and like she's also kind of looks possessed in some of those like dancing scenes when like the lights are flashing and stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah,
no, it's great. It's a great movie.
Cool. All right, Nikisha, what's your number 8?
I feel like nothing's gonna be on y'all's list.
No.
Number 8 for me is Abigail.
Not in my top 10.
on my list.
No.
I knew it. So I just love a good romp. I love a good
Sometimes you just love a good romp.
Sometimes you just love a good romp. I love a horror comedy. I thought everyone was hilarious in it, and it was just one of those fun horror movies. It's like a little girl terrorizing people. Also, like vampires just seem to be very, very in this year. And it was just like a nice step away, like something that wasn't, too absurd, but also it like gives your brain a break of elevated horror too. So I think I just liked that in the midst of all of this. So
yeah, it's fun.
Yeah,
it's really fun. And that little girl is so good at conveying that she's 400 years old. Like just does such a good job, or however old she's supposed to be.
She really did a great job.
Yeah, and with all the teeth, that extra teeth they had, and like the mouth things that Jamie hates, it was just a really fun time.
But also, more importantly, that movie changed Jamie's opinion on Catherine Newton.
There you go. See?
It sure did. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Jamie, what's your number 8?
My number 8 was Heretic.
Gorge.
And it's on your list, Nikisha?
Yes.
Okay, we'll wait. My number 8 is Milk and Cereal.
Oh, interesting. Not on my list.
Not on my list, but enjoyed it. Talk about it.
For those listening, Milk and Cereal is like an hour movie that's on YouTube that came out this year. It was really fun. It's a found footage movie about friends having a prank war and it going terribly wrong. I thought it was one of the better found footage movies we saw all year. I think that it was a total surprise. It was well acted. It didn't feel low budget. And that's very important to me, both from a sound perspective and a visual perspective. It just really worked. It knew when to stop. Like, like it could have gone on for longer or whatever, but it just filled in all of the blanks, with something. I just thought I had a great time watching it. And it gave me that, eerie feeling. And as we all know, I really like found footage movies, and this one did it for me. Apparently there were a lot of good ones this year that I just did not watch yet, and I want to. But this one was probably the better one of the year for me, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it didn't feel low budget at all.
No,
I
didn't know what was going to happen next.
Yeah,
and you're like, at one, there's a certain point where you can totally guess what's happening, but for an hour runtime, the amount of time where I just didn't know what was going to happen next, but it all felt natural, nothing felt out of left field, was really impressive, very, very impressive.
Yeah. And I now follow them on YouTube, and they have like
Sure.
so many shorts and stuff, like, and just not even horror things, just like regular funny things, and they're freaking hilarious. So
Yeah. I think the chair is their other popular one,
yes,
something like that. Yeah.
Mm.
yeah,
But yeah, Milk and Cereal, that was my number 8.
yeah. Jamie, did you watch that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we watched it together.
Yeah,
It was good, but it was like very disturbing.
Very
Mhm.
crazy.
All right, Nikisha, what's your number 7?
Nosferatu.
Not on my list.
It is on my list.
Gorgeous.
Okay, Jamie, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is Longlegs.
Not on my list.
Not on my list.
Wow. Our lists are so different. It's kind of
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, this
But I
is
feel
very
like
cool.
I'm putting it into the universe that I feel like our top 2 are all going to match somehow.
Yeah.
I feel strongly about this.
We're going to be talking, yeah, our top 5 will be
There's going to be a lot of top 3.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, for sure.
I really liked Longlegs. I know that this might be on people's disappointed of this year, and I think that was largely because of expectations and like the hyped nature of expectations, especially on TikTok. Like there's a lot of overhyping that I think has been happening a lot this year. And not that I didn't enjoy like a good amount of things that people were really into this year, but I just think that there is like a lot of like hyperbole that is happening.
Sure.
Yes.
That being said, I think the vibe, Nick Cage, I know some people get really mad. I do. Wait, how often do I randomly start?
A lot. A significant amount.
More than you'd think.
Way more than you'd think.
That's how your child is going to start calling you guys.
Mommy!
Mommy!
Daddy!
Daddy!
I know some people get really mad that it's like described as similar to Silence of the Lambs, but it really does have a similar-ish aesthetic. And quite frankly, for me, it doesn't bother me that then there is this like heavy supernatural element to it. It worked for me. I think I was just in the right like mindset for it at the time, and I tried to really like minimize expectations as much as I could. Just again, trying to like not let the oh my god, it's so scary. Because the more that happens, like the more frustrated I end up being. So I'm like, let me just disconnect my brain from whatever the internet is telling me.
Yeah,
for sure.
I did not expect it to be scary. I like that part of, but I still to this day, I cannot get past the doll like possessing like all the supernatural. I can't get past that, and that ending, because I can't get past that, the ending is just so silly, and a lot of the pieces just don't work for me. I think the first half of that movie is an absolute delight. I think the movie is very clever, the way that it talks about like the devil's pieces and the Holy Spirit and all that stuff behind the scenes that we talked about in our Long Legs episode. And honestly, it had nothing to do with the length of people's legs in that movie. Like the expectation of short legs versus long legs. Like no stilts. That's totally okay. I couldn't get past that.
Yeah, magical dolls and magical cats. It's like, no.
And the acting was great. Micah Monroe, wonderful. Blair Underwood, welcome back, baby.
Oh my god, yeah.
Kieran, what's her name? Kieran Shipka. Like,
yes.
Oh my god.
In that one
That
section,
small
like,
appearance.
yeah. But I will say, this movie gets me very excited for the monkey next year. Oz Perkins' next movie. So yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't get past Nicolas Cage.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't remember that.
I could deal with the supernatural. I could deal with the spiritual, whatever's like fine. But it was just
he was just not
it for me.
Hmm.
And I'm not honest, I don't want to say it's like a reflection of his acting. I think I just did not like that character.
Mhm.
But not necessarily like he did a bad job at it. I just
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
like that
totally.
character. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that was Jamie, that was your number 7.
Yes.
My number 7 is Your Monster.
That's not on my list.
That is on my list.
Okay.
Cool. All right, number 6. Nikisha, what's your number 6?
I saw the TV Glow.
That's also on my list.
That's on my list.
Yeah.
So we'll wait on that one.
Mm-hmm.
6. Jamie, what's your 6?
Nosferatu.
Aye, let's talk about it.
What should I say? Nosferatu.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about it.
Jamie, go ahead.
Man, I really enjoyed it. It was super vibey, gothic horror, little romance, little sex appeal.
Mommy, Daddy.
I will say, I actually think that us watching Dracula earlier this year, for the first time, like really made this movie more enjoyable. I'm really glad. I'm glad that we did that because I think I would have had a harder time following just the story because I've had that issue before. I will admit that like it took me a second watch of the Vivitch for me to like understand what was going on and like really get into it. So
Get into it.
Yes, I got into it. Thank you. So yeah, I thought that the acting was excellent. Lily Rose Depp, like she fucking bodied that role. I was like, who is this person? Like I will never see Tusk. I have not seen Yoga Hosers. But I was like, who is this? Like, she was really remarkable. And Bill Skarsgård again, like fully transforming himself into like something unrecognizable. Loved the mustache. Can we?
Just the whole vibe, the whole aesthetic.
He was the cut YMCA Village People member.
Oh, got it.
Yeah. They were like, oh, Romanian royalty. I don't think that's gonna fly in.
We already have another guy with a mustache. So
yeah, we already have him. So
dang.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you share your love for this.
Yeah, I think it's.
What number was this for you, Nikisha?
Say it again.
What number was this on your list?
7.
7. Okay.
Yeah. So 6 for Jamie, 7 for me. I think what Jamie also says, recency biased about it because I just saw it. But the more that I also see the behind the scenes of it, the more that I like it. Like the fact that Bill Skarsgård did not have to, there wasn't any added effects to his voice. And he was talking about how he developed, like he was with an opera teacher to develop his voice and to build up, the chambers and like in his resonators and his chest and stuff to be able to produce that sound. I thought was really cool. And how, what is her name? Lily
Rose Depp.
Lily Rose. How she did all, like there was no speed through or of any of her contortions. Like she did all that stuff herself. Like that just makes me even more so impressed. On top of like the gothic feel, like I love that aesthetic. It makes me want to go back and watch like Dracula 1992 and like some of the other ones. And I think I enjoyed the movie more visually than even the storyline. But it was also kind of awkward because I watched it with my dad. So LOL. Watching those, if you know those scenes with a parent. Was wild.
You also saw some vampire dong.
Oh my god. Just so many.
I missed it. I don't know. I mean, I wasn't like looking for it, so I like didn't even see it.
I was.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, if I did, I blocked it from my mind because I'm like, I'm not experiencing this with a parent right now.
Sure.
But I just thought it was so beautifully shot. And, the story is so enticing and the makeup for Bill was just absolutely gorgeous. The costuming was gorgeous. They filmed, on location in some areas, and it just added so much. Like I told one of my friends, like after watching this, Robert Eggers does such a good job of making like movies feel like a fever dream. So
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing just felt like a Dracula fever dream. But I agree with you, Jamie. I think us watching Dracula was definitely helpful getting into this. And of course, all of the like kind of some of the shot for shots with the original silent film of it, with like Dracula popping out of the casket and all of the shadow work, which was super cool. But I especially love that they give credit to SpongeBob SquarePants for introducing millennials to Nosferatu in that random SpongeBob episode. Because I would not. That is the only reason why I know who Nosferatu is because
Really?
I mean, that's
Yes.
like the number one tweet. Like you will be disappointed if you think SpongeBob is in this film.
Absolutely. He's not hiding in a corner anywhere.
Yeah.
God.
But yeah, no, I really enjoy it. And as the days go by and as I see more information about it, like it just kind of has been staying on my mind. So
Sure.
that's good.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. That was your 6, Jamie. My 6 is It's What's Inside.
That's on my list.
Okay.
That's not.
Oy.
Okay. All right. We're in our top 5s. Nikisha, what's your number 5?
Heretic.
That's all 3 of us, right?
Woo!
We all said
so.
it?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Nikisha,
Yes.
sorry. It was your highest. It was your highest of the 3 of us.
Yeah, absolutely. I just really loved the conversations about like deconstructing different types of religions. Like that's my jam. And if you want to add it in to be a horror movie, like 2 for 2, or 2 for 1, like it's good. I just love the concept. I love the acting. I thought it was the tension building was fantastic. And it's just a movie that I have constantly been thinking about since I've watched it. I mean, like the whole birth control in the arm thing.
Oh, such a good scene.
It was such a good scene, and all the gaslighting of everything, and us not expecting who the final girl was going to be. I just thought that was amazing.
Amazing. Yeah.
Just to subvert your expectation, and yeah, I really just enjoyed everything about it, and having what's his face as a villain when he's like a known romantic comedy guy was super fun. So
yeah, no, I totally agree. I think again, it was like another one of the like, oh my god, this movie is so scary, but I didn't find it like terrifying scary,
right,
but it just presented a lot of like really interesting like ideas, and yeah, it was just a lot. Like I was having fun trying to figure out like what was going to happen next. That made it a really enjoyable experience. Yeah, Hugh Grant being in his like villain arc is I'm really into it.
yes.
So yeah.
I agree with everything you all said. I actually think this movie has grown on me more since we've seen it than when I first saw it because of the hype, or the overhype, I should say, on social media. Like, I thought it was going to be just like a touchdown times 10, like amazing. And it was fine. But the more that I live with it, the more I enjoy it. The only reason it's at number 10 for me is I do think that the end falls a little bit into the same old between her figuring everything out and the very end. There's that whole sequence of like, him like what his actual plan is and all that stuff. Just feels a little bit like been there, done that. But realistically, that's kind of nitpicky. It's just because so many of these other ones are very good.
Yeah.
But I think it's great, and I think about it more and more, especially what Nikisha, did you say it? The subverting expectation of who the final girl is actually going to be. That was good. Also, the opening with them talking about like porn and just the idea of like how they see God in all of these like totally normal things. But I love that it grounds these two people and sets the expectation for who these two Mormon missionaries will be versus like our prejudgment of Mormon missionaries in general.
Yeah.
I just think this movie is very smart and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Cool. That was your
That was my
number
five.
five.
So.
Jamie, what's your number 5?
My number 5 was Your Monster.
Great. Let's talk about it.
Tell me about it.
I really liked this movie, like a lot. I think it was appropriately hyped. I love Melissa Barrera.
Yes.
She was so absolutely charming in this movie. The monster is so charming. Like together they were unstoppable, and I could watch so much more content with the two of them. There's like a very cutesy montage of them like, you know, learning to live together, and like that whole sequence is adorable. And they just have like incredible chemistry. It's just, and I think what's also really interesting is just the fact that this is like based on a true-ish story of the writer director. And man, it must be so cathartic to be able to write a movie where your ex-boyfriend is the villain.
Ooh, okay.
Like, I'm jealous.
Got my vote.
You're like, I have several screenplays that could be turned into something.
Yes.
But no, it was really fun. I really liked the music in it, because we do get a like 2 musical numbers, I think.
Oh, fun.
And yeah, it was just like, it was very unexpected. And I really liked it. It gave me a lot of warm and fuzzies.
Nice.
Yeah, I love this movie. I think this movie, just like Jamie said, is really funny, but it's also an amazing allegory. And I just this idea of like this like rage that you like really beat down inside yourself, and once you let it loose, like, you know, this movie just like takes it to the next level. And I just absolutely love what this movie does, where it's going, how it gets there. I think it is so well acted. Like Jamie said, their chemistry is charming to the max. I this was of all the things on this list for me, this was a complete and utter total surprise.
Nice.
And I really love this movie. We got a screener for it. I just wanted to put that out there. But like, even if I had seen this on my own accord, I would have loved it the same. Also, it's one of those things where like there was no hype, so we got to experience it like on our own, which, you know,
that's nice.
yeah, that's you know, that's something. Cool. Fantastic. That was, what number was that for you, Jamie? That was your 5? 5. My 5 is Oddity.
That's not on my list.
That's on my list.
Okay. So Nikisha, what's your number 4?
VHS Beyond.
Not on my list.
Yeah.
Not on my list.
I just cannot stop thinking about that plane scene.
Oh,
And
sure.
We talked about it before, but I just think, I don't know, there was just a lot of good, like, jump scary moments. I like it more than other ones in our rankings of the VHS movies, but
it's probably one of the more consistent ones when it comes to like segment to segment.
Absolutely, yeah. Which I think I just appreciated that.
Yeah.
Because like we're all super into, you know, the VHS chain, and yeah, I again just think about rewatchability and things that just really stuck with me. And yeah, it's that whole entire plane sequence. I'm like, that could be a movie on its own, and that would scare me every time I would watch it.
Absolutely.
So it really is just for that. It's like VHS Beyond / whatever segment that was. The plane. So yeah, that's my number 4.
Cool. Jamie, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Oddity.
Nice.
All right, let's talk about the oddities.
It was real odd.
It was real odd. I thought it was the bottom line is that vibe wise, I just thought it was a really good, solid, creepy horror movie. I think
Mhm.
that wood thing is like a very
Terrifying to
striking
look at.
image.
Crazy.
Some of
Yeah.
the opening with like the escaped convict or whatever it was, like at her door, the use of the video camera or like the camera and the flash, like when the woman is watching, when the girlfriend is watching it, like even some of the stereotypical stuff in the movie that you kind of like figure out, like is wonderful. Like also, I didn't, you kind of knew it was going to happen next, but you didn't know how it was going to happen. And like
Yeah.
the fact that like she falls through that trap door so early, and not early, but
Oh my
like
God,
earlier than
yeah.
you think in the movie.
Mhm.
And then the end with the bellhop is just like perfect. I just
Mhm.
was very into this movie on so many different levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This movie like genuinely scared me. Like it had some really good moments, and like that doesn't happen that often to me, nor like watching something at home. So
Yeah.
like I think that the impact that it had is really telling of like the kind of movie that it is. But yeah, I agree with everything Brian said. It was just like another unexpected release that came out this year that like really terrified me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
love it.
it was a great movie for all the things that y'all said. So yeah.
That was your number 4, Jamie.
Mhm.
My number 4 is Red Rooms.
Dang.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
Red Rooms is a French Canadian film about. I'm not going to spoil it here.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
but
okay,
it is
well,
about. Oh, no, what did you say?
I won't be mad. It's okay.
Yeah. But it is about um a serial killer trial in Canada that is getting a lot of media attention, and this one woman who is kind of obsessed with it, who actually goes to the trial. And the movie thematically is about isolation, voyeurism. It's about um kind of technology and how that kind of blurs the line between, you know, our ability to interact and communicate with people. It's about you know, feeling connected, not feeling connected. It is tense, it is well acted, it is smart, it's all subtext. It shows everything and doesn't tell anything. um and like other movies that we like, it does not show the horrific things. Like you know,
mm-hmm.
it doesn't show any of the awful things he does.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
it shows people's reaction to those awful things, and that, well, I love that in a movie. It's so well acted. This movie is absolutely stellar in every way. Honestly, I maybe I should rank it higher than this. But that's just because I recently saw it, so I want to see how much it sticks with me.
Yeah.
But this was all the set halfway through this movie. I was like, oh, this if they stick the landing, which they do, this has to be in my top 5 of the year. You know, I think it had the wide release this year, so if you look it up, it's going to say 2023, but I think that's when it like premiered, and then
Right.
this year is when it got a release. But it's wonderful. It's an awesome movie.
Nice.
And some people will consider it more of a like psychological thriller, and I totally get that, and I don't think they're wrong, but I consider it within the horror genre for sure.
Love that.
Cool. All right, top 3. Nikisha, what is number 3 for you?
The Substance.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that is on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy, what's
Brian
your
is up.
number 3?
My number 3 is I Saw the TV Glow.
Oy.
That is on my list, but not yet. At number 3, I have The Substance.
Oy.
All right. When the 3 of us didn't say Substance, right? Jamie, you didn't
No,
say
not
yet?
yet.
Okay.
No, I didn't say it.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2, Nikisha, what's your number 2?
It's What's Inside.
Okay. Jamie, that's not on your list?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about it. It's a fucking great movie. It is.
What a great movie.
Also, again, another example of having no expectations for it and being blown
Exactly.
away. I think it is a gorgeous film. I think the
Mhm.
twist makes perfect sense and you just
Mhm.
don't see it coming for whatever reason. I think that it is edited in an incredible way. The use of light, the use of color, the
Yes.
you know, all of the flashbacks to college, like, and how people are telling the story, the not reliable narrator aspect of things.
Mhm.
I was on the edge of my seat, and these characters both feel real and stereotypical at the same time, and I think that's incredible. Like that opening scene of like her with the wig and them kind of like fighting
Yes.
about their relationship, like this movie sticks the landing. It's so cathartic. You know, you're just waiting for the bad thing to happen, and when it does, it happens at the right time for
Mhm.
all these characters. It's the right people. It's everything that this movie was. Everything that I didn't know I wanted. I just think it is so well done. I only saw it once, and this is one I'd be very interested to watch again. Just knowing
Same.
what happens and watching the trajectory of all these characters, I just think this is a a stellar film.
It really is, and I think it is going in blind, not knowing what the premise is at all, and then being like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Mm-hmm.
Because it's so left field. And I think the acting was fantastic. Like Brian, you mentioned the colors. It reminded me of like Bodies, Bodies, Bodies with just like the glow sticks and all the things, like just how
Sure.
they represent the colors. And I think it just adds so much to the story. And I love like how they filmed everything. Um, and yeah, it's and not to spoil it, but I agree. It's so nice when the bad guys actually get like the harsh punishment that you want them to get, like we talked about with
Yes.
in Barbarian, stuff like that. It's just like so nice that this movie like gives you exactly what you want and things you didn't expect that you wanted. But it was a fantastic film. I was absolutely blown away from start to finish. I was like, what the hell is going on? This is, but I can't stop watching this. It's like a train wreck that you cannot stop watching. It's great.
Hell yeah.
Loved it.
Oh, great movie.
Mm-hmm.
I loved this movie, but I subjectively don't categorize it as horror.
Totally.
Yeah, fair.
So that's why it's not on my
Yeah,
list.
yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
because I
sure.
did not enjoy this movie. I thought it was an
Absolutely.
excellent movie this year.
Yeah,
Totally.
So I didn't want people to come for me, you know.
No.
for sure. Don't come for Jamie.
Don't come for what was that? That was number
That was number 2 for me.
2.
Jamie, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is The Substance.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it, right? We all said it.
Yeah, what was it on your number, Brian?
I was my number 3.
Oh, okay. Yes.
I mean, just it's amazing. Like
Yeah.
the lack of rules and the rules, the vagueness of it all, but it's so specific. The performances, and on my pro column is that last 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, and all of the references to other horror movies, other thrillers.
Mm-hmm.
It is a masterpiece in like every way, from a horror movie to just a movie. It captures a feeling. It teaches that feeling to other
Yeah.
people.
Mhm.
It is just this one had the hype behind it, and this
Yes.
one matched the hype, and
Yeah.
that is
Yes.
impressive to me. Like,
Mhm.
I never once felt let down by this movie.
No.
I just think it's an absolute banger. And the things I remember from this are like Demi Moore in the kitchen, like eating the chicken, and like, you know, a lot of that stuff. Margaret Qualley, like
Mm-hmm.
you know, try like pulling the chicken wing out of her belly button or whatever
Oh
it was.
God.
Like just like
That's the- It's so. I
great
just want to
movie.
say, like, it just doesn't take itself too seriously either, but it does in a way.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah,
like you said,
yeah.
Brian, like it is honing in that lesson for everyone, but you're pulling a chicken wing out of your stomach.
Yeah,
So like,
it's so good.
but it's so good. And I was watching some video of people just talking about like it's such a shame that the Academy Awards don't like really consider horror performances, because like Demi Moore's performance was absolutely incredible. Like that entire scene with her in front of the mirror getting ready for that date and then like
Oh my
not
God,
going,
it's devastating.
that
Oh.
lives rent free in my
Yeah.
brain.
Oh, when he
Ugh,
keeps
it was so
texting.
sad.
Yes.
Oh my God. I'm just like, my heart is breaking right now. And that movie has amazing will they, won't they points, meaning
Yes.
like, will they shit and get off the pot? Like, is this the moment? The movie clearly defines the moment where they can change and they choose not to.
Yes.
And I love that in a movie.
Yeah. No, it's, I mean, it is excellent. Like the storytelling, how everything was shot, especially with like the extreme dark colors and the extreme like contrast, like in a lot of the shots. It was just, and like you said, the references to other horror movies or just other movies in general. Because there's also, you know, video circulating around like shot for shots of things, and you know, it's just so fun to see like all the things that they you know, pay tribute to, with also telling this very like unique way of telling this story and this lesson. It's excellent.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Jamie?
I mean, all of you both said all of the things. Like, I'm obsessed with this movie. It was just like, it was so incredible. It was like featuring these two beautiful women in like the least sexy way possible. There are parts of it that are like absolutely disgusting. I don't think I can look at shrimp the same way ever again.
Wait, what food?
And sorry, scramps. And yeah, it just like, I think as Brian said, it highlights something that has been done so many times over, but still somehow manages to give its own unique spin on it. And yeah, I am so grateful that this movie exists so that people can have a fraction of an understanding of like the impact that like society and culture has on like mental health and like women's mental health and just the experience of being a woman. So yeah, more movies like this, please.
Damn, it was so good.
Also, side note, if y'all haven't seen Margaret Qualley in Maid or The Maid on Netflix, please do yourself a favor. It is so heartbreaking and amazing, and it's just gorgeous. It's a TV show, a mini series, but it's on Netflix, and she is just, I need to see if she won awards for it, but she had to have, because it was just a fantastic performance. But just throwing that out there.
I've seen clips of it on TikTok.
So good. Yeah. And Anika Noni Rose is in it. Princess
she
Tiana.
is.
Yeah. It's good.
Cool. Whose number 2 was that?
Mine.
Jamie's. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And what was your number 2, Nikisha?
It's What's Inside.
Oh, right. We talked about those two. My number 2 is probably, well, I know what your number 1s are based on this, but you know, our girl, the one and only, the greatest pop star this side of Celeste from Vox Lux, Sky Riley. My number 2 is Smile 2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Perhaps that's on my list.
Perhaps it's on my list.
All right. Before we talk about our number 1s, which I think if you're following along at home, you know what the two number 1 movies we're going to talk about are. But let's take a little moment. I'd love to hear your honorable mentions. That could be your number 11 through 15. That could just be random movies, whatever. But Nikisha, why don't you go first? What are some of your honorable mentions?
Yeah, it was on y'all's list, but the first Omen was on my honorable mentions because I loved it, and we talked about it. Infested, excellent. Spiders, disgusting, but it was phenomenal. And then again, because I love a little romp, Lisa Frankenstein, just a little like
sure.
But yeah, those are the honorable mentions that I'll put out there.
Jamie?
Yeah, some of mine include Late Night with the Devil, Alien Romulus, that was a fun one, Abigail, VHS Beyond, and A Quiet Place Day One, and Trap.
Okay.
Trap was a fun time. I had a fun time. What can I say?
Nice.
My honorable mentions, these are just my 11 through 15.
Mhm.
Are at 15, I had A Quiet Place Day 1. At 14, Immaculate. At 13, Strange Darling.
Mhm.
At 12, Nosferatu. And 11, I really think about this movie a lot for whatever reason. Cuckoo.
Oh, okay.
I just think
Work.
her performance in that was great. I have some more like more categories coming up that we'll mention some other movies too. But that I just want to do 11 through 15 for this
Yeah,
one.
for sure.
Cool. Okay, I think we're going to. All right, let me go first for number one, so that we can talk about your number one like as the last one.
Okay.
Sure.
My number one is I Saw the TV
Of
Glow.
course. I knew it.
Mhm.
That was my favorite movie. That might be my favorite movie of the whole year.
Yeah.
Like horror or not. I think the most important thing about this movie is that Pink Opaque is so delightful to say that like how could you not vote for this for number one? But
Absolutely.
outside of that, similarly to the way we talked about The Substance, and similarly the way we talk about The Invisible Man, I just think that this movie does such a good job of conveying a feeling that only some people know to the masses. And
Mhm.
I think that not only is this movie beautifully edited, wonderfully acted, the vibe of it fits right into the pocket of how I feel a lot of the times about like 90s nostalgia and watching TV shows late at night and having these like weird TV shows that you only love, and then you find like two or three other people that know exactly what you're talking about. And the thing is, it's not just about finding other people that love the show as much as you. It's about finding the people that one watched it at the same time that you watched it, and two
Mhm.
watched it in the same way that you watched it, like late at night when like the lights are off and your parents are asleep, like kind of feel like you're getting away with something. Like I just think this movie absolutely nails that vibe. But and then on top of that, this movie just knocks this allegory about figuring out who you are and accepting it and not accepting it, being given the chance to accept it and you still don't do it, but still letting you know that your story's not over yet. You still
Mhm.
have time. You know, it you still have, I forget what's written in the chalk on the street, but like, you
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
you can, it was to the effect of like you still can do it. um I think that, who's it, Justice Smith, was that who
Yes.
was in
Uh-huh.
this?
Mhm.
That whole end sequence of him screaming in the like Chuck E. Cheese like birthday party room, and then apologizing to, then going into the bathroom, seeing the thing inside of him, but still deciding to close it up, and then apologizing for him existing. He's apologizing for it, is so fucking devastating. That is something I will never forget. I think this is a perfect movie. I think Jane Schoenbrunn is an amazing filmmaker. I cannot wait to see the World's Fair movie. Like, I am
Mm.
just obsessed with this director. I want to watch everything they've ever done and everything they will do. This movie is probably very high on a list of my favorite movies of all time list. Like,
Mm.
not like top 10 or anything like that, but like, you know, like I just was blown away by this movie. Again, very little expectations going in, knowing what it was about. I also dig a vibe movie. I also you know, like the narrative is a little bit all over the place. Those sequences of like the music, isn't
Yeah.
Bishop Briggs in it like at
Mhm.
some point? Like
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
music, you know, Fred Durst like in it for like two
Mhm.
seconds, like never showing the family. We do a full episode on this. I'm just like reliving that episode, but I
Mhm.
absolutely think this movie is dynamite. I'm gonna that's this was as good as what would the movie we're gonna talk about next. And as much as I probably have spent more time thinking about and singing along to the movie that we're gonna talk about next, this one was always, the second I saw this one was always going to be my number one of the year. I love this movie. I Saw the
Yeah.
TV Glow is a perfect film.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's just such a lovely like love letter to millennials and just the complexities of our minds as we are the age that we are right now. I think that's why it resonates so much with us. And just, you know, figuring out who we are and who we want to be. And yeah, I thought it was just so well acted. It was so fun to just watch because it was shot so beautifully. And yeah, I just had a really fun time watching it and just kind of reliving just some things. But Brian, it's really interesting the point that you made about people watching it, these TV shows, these old TV shows or movies, like the same way that you watch it. And it just reminds me of like the routine of like every Saturday night Snick is on and we're gonna sit and watch it, you know. So it's like, you know, what everyone or all your friends were doing on that Saturday night.
Yeah,
you know?
like the 10 o'clock show started and you're like, oh my god, can I get away with watching it when my mom tells me to go to bed? Like
Exactly.
there's that anxiety while you're watching it because you're enjoying it, and the show may be like the Tomorrow People or Pete and Pete or whatever it is, and then there's that you know, like that type of thing, and you're still wondering, like, you're engaged, but you're also like, is my mom gonna come in and tell me that it's bedtime? Like, no, like I gotta finish this, I gotta see what happens. And just the way that this movie can both be an allegory for trans, but also pull other millennials and other people in it and make them feel as if this was also for them, while teaching them about these other feelings that you probably don't experience, I think is a feat that The Substance does and this movie does this year.
Yeah,
agreed.
it like builds empathy in its audience in a really effective way. That's like, oh, now I have like you know, not the whole experience, but like I have more of an understanding, and like it increases compassion. So like, yeah.
And even my gripe about the movie, if I'm remembering this correctly, is that like they had the little kid playing him, and then Justice Smith played him at like every single age after that with like years and years. But like that choice is brilliant because he just can't accept who he is, and he's still the same. Like, oh man, it's so good. I love
like everything
movie.
is intentional, you know.
Everything in that movie is intentional. There is not a bit of fat on that movie at all. Even if you think that some things are like kind of here or there, like a lot of it is for vibe too, like the music and obviously the lyrics are very heavily weighted in some of those songs in between. But like, damn, home run times 10 for me.
Yeah, that's great. Cool. Well, are we ready to talk about our other fave? Oh God, Brian, please.
Let's do it.
Very, very creepy. Let's do it. So on Jamie and ours number one list, Smile 2. Jamie, do you want to start talk about it?
I fucking love this chain so much. I don't care what anyone says. No one can convince me otherwise, because it has something that will always scare me, which is weird mouth stuff. No matter what, weird mouth stuff is my number one biggest creepy scare. And guess what? It's a movie about weird smiles. And not only is it the movie about weird smiles, but this movie has fucking bops that I've been listening to for months that made my Spotify like wrapped, because I'm a weirdo and I can't stop listening to these songs.
I need a new brain.
Like, they're so catchy.
Oh yeah.
Like, whenever Sky Riley goes on tour, although I guess an RIP tour, I would I would be there. But
my God,
yeah, they just take
so good.
the concept that I personally really resonated with, which is like a mental health practitioner who has really poor work-life balance and poor boundaries, who ends up in this situation. It's amped up. And even though I guessed how this movie was going to end, that still did not take away from my enjoyment of it.
Yeah,
it's still like just really delivered in kind of amping up what we already got in the first one and like keeping the tension going. The jump scares were terrifying. I was definitely hiding while watching this movie for a good chunk of it behind my whole body. What's her face, who played Sky Riley, she was incredible. Yes, Naomi Scott was fucking phenomenal in this movie. Like, if I was in charge of the Oscars, which, like, I'm happy to take this job,
Yes.
she would totally be nominated. Like, she just really, like, she just embodied the persona of a musician who is like trying to have this comeback. Her experiences with trauma, her experiences struggling with substance use, like the pressure that she feels under, the pressure from her momager. There's just like so many things, but it was all very cohesive. It all felt very, very real. And I think it just delivered exactly in the way that it needed to. So I can't
Also-
wait for the third one. Truly.
Same.
Me too. And quite frankly, like, she should also get a nomination for destroying those Voss water bottles, you know?
Man. How?
Yeah,
How
I
do you
can't.
swallow that
I can't
fast?
drink water like that. That's so.
No.
That's so
No,
impressive.
only
How do
Sky
you like
Riley
open up
can.
your gullet and just like chug? Like I can't. I can barely sip on this Owala, not sponsored, on
Yes.
my little
It's like, I have the
straw.
same one.
Yeah, it's
Same
hey,
color?
Do you want to sponsor us?
Right. It's not the same. I don't think it's the same color. I'm gonna find it because Hamilton gave us one.
Oh,
With a
fancy.
little Hamilton label on it. But no, I
Ooh.
agree. It's like if I were to drink like that, it would feel like I was drowning.
It's like you're like waterboarding yourself.
Like,
It's like
what?
very
Right.
uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable. No, yeah, the movie was just from start to finish, like and I love a movie that is where you left off in the first one is where you start in the second one, and it's
Mhm.
like here we are for the ride. There's no like long exposition. It's like where are we at now? And I just love the opening scene. And the guy getting hit by the truck and it being like a little smile, and then the title card. Woo, so good.
Good title card.
Mm-hmm.
Love
That's
a
what I
title
have to
card.
start doing. I have to start actually at the end of each movie next year. Remind me, Jamie. I need to be able.
A
I
best
need.
of title
I need to
cards.
do a best of title. Yeah.
I
That's
need
important.
to do this.
Yeah.
Best of title cards.
Am I a future disaster waiting to happen? Like blood
just
on
so-
white.
just everything
satin.
about it, like the jump scares. Like I have not been
Might
scared
be a
like that in a
tragedy.
while.
Mhm.
And
Station run.
this movie delivered.
Yeah,
Mhm.
man, and this is without a doubt. I mean, Jamie said it. Like this franchise is just like more like this, please. Like original but derivative of other rules from other movies.
Mhm.
Interesting, but always building, genuinely scary from both a jump scare perspective and just an eerie, creepy perspective. The momentum builds, the sound editing, the act, this damn whole great film, great movie.
Great. Like yeah, I can't stop thinking about everything in
Mhm.
that movie. It's so good.
Yeah. I think about this movie maybe once a day. It's just
Yeah.
like it's fully burned into my brain.
Oof. So good. All those dancers crawling all over
dancers.
themselves.
Oh,
get
Oh,
to
it's
her.
yeah.
so awful. It's
Also-
so creepy.
Her outfits, A+. Even
Yeah.
even the costume design of like the long shirt with the blood being hidden by like the other
Yes.
sweatshirt, like the scene I mentioned earlier in the episode with the old woman on the stage, the
Mhm.
cam, like the watching the video on the phone, but
Oh yeah.
man, like that whole
car
car
scene?
accident sequence,
Yes.
like. But her songs, we talked about this in the episode. I'm just reiterating. Her songs sound like songs that someone who had trauma would write
Mhm.
in their comeback album, essentially. Like her having the short hair because she's haunted by the long hair hanging from the top of the car. Like
Yeah.
everything works in this movie. And you get a little bit more lore, kind of. You get that very satisfying moment where like they talk about like the chain and like he mentions the psychotherapist, the psychiatrist from the first one, like just like absolute, just A+.
10s across
Yeah.
the board. Like
Mhm.
it's
10
fantastic.
10
Oh my
creepy
God.
smiles.
It's very creepy, Ryan. Excellent. Well, great. So we've done our top 10 and honorable mentions. So I think now we're going to what our 5 most disappointing.
Yeah, let's do our
Mhm.
let's do our most disappointing films of the year.
Yes.
Um, I am happy to start. I'm happy for
Yeah, go
someone else
ahead.
to start. Sure, in no order. Um, Even though it was in my honorable mention, Strange Darling is a disappointment to me
Mm.
Mm.
because of the hype. I
Mhm.
also guessed it 2 seconds in, and that actually ruined the movie for me.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
like that definitely took
He
something away
truly
from
did.
it.
That was really
sure.
funny.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, she's the basically I was like, oh, we're supposed to believe that he's the serial killer and she's not, because that's our prejudgments of like male versus female.
Exactly.
But like that's not the case.
Right.
And that just made the movie feel humdrum to me. I think it was
Okay.
still a stellar movie with excellent performances, but like the hype definitely ruined that for me. We talked about Long Legs already. I just couldn't get over the supernatural thing in
Yeah,
that.
they're too long for you. I get it.
The legs were just so long. Mommy,
Mhm.
daddy. So even though it
Awful.
was in my
Oh,
honorable
so
mentions again, this was one of my most anticipated of this year. So therefore, I have to be not disappointed by Nosferatu.
Mm.
Um, it was everything you said is right. It is beautiful. It is well acted. The use of shadows. The performances not only are great, as I said, but they just like are all on the same energy level. They're all working towards something. The prosthetics, the makeup, the performances, everything is exceptional. This movie is not saying anything new. This movie has
Fair.
no point of view. It is not. It is no different, except it's more beautiful. It's no different than the 1922 one. With like you add some more characters here and stuff like that. It Robert Eggers is clearly in love and obsessed with it. The only thing it does is it brings a little bit more depth into the sexuality aspect of things, but like I don't know what it's saying about uh sexual abuse trauma. Like
Mm.
if you give yourself into your trauma and like relive it, you can save everybody. Like I know that's not the point of it, but like I just was not impressed by what this movie was trying to do outside of how beautiful it is. And quite frankly, there's a ton of beautiful movies that I could watch that are trying to say something. And I was because I knew the plot, because I knew everything, and in the first 20 minutes it's beautiful. I'm just like 10 minutes ahead of the movie, and I just like it, I kind of got bored halfway through.
Mm.
I was locked in the first hour, and then I was just like, I know, like give me something to chew on, because I've seen beautiful already for an hour. Now I need substance, and it never gave me that. And that's why it was disappointing to me.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I totally understand that.
You're wrong, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
no, that's okay. But by far, no questions asked, the most disappointing movie of the year. And I'm actually not surprised at all, because it takes the least interesting character from movies and makes them the star,
Mhm.
Maxine. Maxine is by far the most disappointing movie this year, because the reason that X works is because Maxine's not the interesting character in that movie. Like everyone else is interesting in that movie. Then you have Pearl, who is the most interesting character in all of these movies. And now we're going back to Maxine, and it's not that interesting. And then the ending is stupid. Like Maxine was so deeply disappointing to me.
I absolutely agree. That was my number one
It
disappointment.
was okay.
Yes, because like for everything you just said, X was good. Also, X was good because of Pearl as well, because you had that old
Yeah.
woman trying to kill all
Right.
these young kids.
Totally.
So literally, it's like Pearl in the first one, Pearl in the second one, and now she's not in the third one.
Pearl
And
in the
what do you
first one,
have?
Pearl in the second one. Where is Pearl in the third one? Yeah.
Yes.
Like, and it's very clear that Ty West made the movie he wanted to make. And I
Yeah.
totally respect that. And I think it's wonderful. And I think it's like a well-made movie, if you will. But like, what a gap between
What
the
a
other ones.
large gap. Yeah. It was
Jamie?
just kind of like you had the opportunity to have a home run, especially because of how excellent Pearl was.
Mm-hmm.
And just to literally drop from the cliff, from the Hollywood cliff to Maxine
Yeah.
was just
Yeah.
so disappointing, because that was also one of my most anticipated for this year.
Sure.
And it was just like, what?
Right. Jamie's blank face when I mentioned Maxine, she was like, yeah, because it was.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it was also on my list as well. It just, it did not deliver on like, we were on this like up and up with all this hype. I also just like, yeah, Pearl was really good. And I don't know, not that like the hype can't continue, but I just think that it was just a weird direction that like I didn't really care that much about. And I agree that like Maxine is not the most compelling character in the chain, but I guess I don't really know what else they would have done other than like exploring more of Pearl's life, more of the same.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that the narrative that they chose for the third one, the 80s setting is awesome, but the narrative they chose just felt very empty and hollow to me, and I really didn't care about her dad's stuff. Even though they set it up in X, they do, I get it, but like I was just very so deeply uninteresting. It felt like a rehash of House of the Devil in some ways. Like it just didn't feel new or interesting. Or related to Maxine. Like even though it's part of Maxine's origin story, if you will, like it still felt disconnected in some way from the narrative they were telling.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Totally. Jamie, do you want to go through your other disappointing?
Sure. So, in addition to Maxine, I was also disappointed by Beetlejuice times 2.
Same.
Yeah.
I guess there was a part of me that was like, don't get excited for this, because I just was worried that like it would not deliver, and like it really did not deliver. There was just so much going on in that movie. That movie was like very like you could cut a significant amount out of that movie and make it a much better movie. And there was just characters in it and like plot lines that like didn't make any sense, that were kind of pointless. So that definitely was disappointing. I will say that like, you know, I can see Tim Burton having fun again in a way that maybe he has not in a while. And I also do appreciate the like attempting to really emphasize practical effects over CG, because like, man, Tim Burton really went like in the a complete opposite direction with like CG effects.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, still not enough to do it for me. Another disappointment of this year was Watchers.
Oh, what a bummer.
Yeah, real bummer. Like interesting premise that just like I feel like they just kind of wasted. And it was just like I don't know if like it was just directed really poorly. But everyone just seemed so flat and like not super engaged for like what is an interesting concept. So not great, Bob. Another disappointment for me was In a Violent Nature. While that yoga kill is incredible, there's just so much more walking in this movie than is necessary. And I get it. You're doing something different with the slasher genre. I appreciate a new take. I appreciate that you're doing it from this perspective as opposed to what we normally get. But like, I think you have to think about it in a more like practical, like what do people want to consume in terms of media? And like, I just found a lot of it more boring because I just needed things to like move along a little bit more without like, I guess it feeling like you're interfering too much when it's just kind of like we're passively observing everything. But like, yeah, I just think it was kind of boring. And then the ending, I feel like kind of took away from just following the Jason character, if you will, around the whole time. So it like kind of undermined itself, which was a little bit frustrating. So that was disappointing. And I know that this is like an inherently bad movie, but I do feel like maybe there was an alternate reality where like it could have been interesting, fine, but like there was really no way. It was just bad. It was Night Swim.
Jamie, we have the
Sure.
exact same list.
We
Oh,
really?
that's so funny.
Maxine, In a Violent Nature, Night Swim, Beetlejuice. But then my last one is Long Legs because I didn't like Long Legs.
Sure.
But the rest of it is the exact
Mommy.
same.
That's so funny.
Yes.
Funny,
Daddy.
mommy. Yeah, Night Swim, man, what a terrible movie. What a way to start off the year. But
Yes.
like I remember just being like, okay, like haunted pool, interesting, but like full stop. There's nothing beyond that. If there, just don't even look
bother.
any further. Yeah, what was the joke that we made? There were 2 Deadpool movies that came out this year, and one
Yeah.
was much better than the other.
Yeah.
This was the worst. This was the worst
Excellent.
Deadpool movie.
Awful.
It was just not good. And I feel like that kind of kickstart, not even that necessarily, but I feel like Blumhouse really kind of struggled to recover from the not so great Exorcist movie from last year, and then like moving into 2024 with like that being the 2024 debut,
That
like
and
oof.
Imaginary.
Yeah, and then Imaginary, which we didn't even see because I kind
No.
of was like, I felt so burned by Night Swim that I was like, I need a Blumhouse break. I don't know if I can handle like whatever they're throwing at me right now because like I don't like the they've made a lot of really smart movie decisions, but like recently I'm kind of questioning things a bit. So a little detox from Blumhouse was needed from me.
For sure. No, I agree. I think it's like you said from the top because it was the first kind of really promoted horror movie to start the year. And so we're just like ready to dive in, all in, and it just was like it fell completely flat.
So Blumhouse's 2024 was Night Swim, Imaginary, Afraid, Speak No Evil, and House of Spoils.
Yeah, not a great year.
No, the Speak No Evil was supposed to be a pretty good remake. Again, none of us saw it, but like that's not. You're still not bouting,
right?
It's bad.
Yeah.
Next year, they have Wolfman, The Woman in the Yard, Drop, Mithrigan 2.0, potentially another Insidious film. Black Phone.
Another Conjuring.
Yeah, another.
That's not Blumhouse though. Okay. That's Universal, I think.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I thought because James Wan and Blumhouse are like tag teaming now, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know if that's under the Blumhouse banner though. Those movies.
Oh, okay.
Black Phone 2, Five Nights at Freddy's 2.
That won't do well.
Those are the. So they're gonna have 2. They're gonna have one for surefire hit next year, which is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. But it's got some interesting stuff next year. That Drop movie is from Christopher Landon, who did like Freaky and Happy Death Day. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But
yeah, The Conjuring is oh wait, no, I mean it is James Wan, but I was trying to see who is producing it or under what banner, but it doesn't say. So anyway, yeah,
interesting,
fantastic. Well, which category do you want to go under next? The most anticipated?
No, let's keep doing some of our fun ones.
Okay.
Do you have any other fun lists? Anybody?
I do.
Yeah.
I have top movies I think I would survive of this year.
Yes.
Oh, great
please.
list. Let's hear it.
Top on the list, the movie Slay that we watched on Tubi. Because I mean, it was just, Night of the Living Dead. I can deal with a zombie or two or whatever the case. And also it was like fabulous drag queens in the process. So you're gonna have fun in the process too and look good. So it's like, great, I can survive that.
It was, just so no one writes to us, it was vampires, right?
I mean, vampires. Yes,
Yeah,
vampires.
okay.
And again, the year of the vampires, just everything is just vampires.
Yes.
It's what's inside, because the first time we ever went round and experienced what we experienced, I'm out of the door. I don't need to experience any of that stuff ever again. Are you kidding me? I would be like,
would you even do it at first? You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. I'm not gonna lie. I would try it because they didn't know what it was. They didn't know what was gonna happen, right? But the minute that we experienced it the first time, I'm out of the door. Or y'all can do it and you have fun, but I'm gonna stay in my body. I'm not gonna do anything. No. And then the last one is I would survive is night swim, because I don't know how to swim anyway. So who's getting in a pool? Not me. Done.
Amazing. That's a
Yes.
great list.
Thanks. Anyone have another fun list?
Yeah, I have a couple.
Yes.
I have just middle of the road shout outs. Stop motion. Lisa Frankenstein. I really liked the concept and the ending of House of Spoils. I just think the rest wasn't that good. So I want to give a shout out to the idea.
For sure.
Abigail, which we talked about, and Azrael.
Nice.
I need to then my pleasant surprises are Slay, as we mentioned. Frogman, great movie. Fantastically funny, campy, scary, found footage movie. And then Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2 was still not great, but significantly better than the first one. They actually improved everything, and I was very thankful for that. I watched that thing in regular speed. You know what I mean? Like I didn't like pause. Halfway through, I wasn't like, I can't do this. Like I watched it and actually enjoyed quite a bit of it. So awesome there. But my category that I wanted to really talk about, and we talked a lot about it already, is that ending though.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good one. You said that a lot this year.
Yeah. Okay. The one we've talked about all these a little bit, but Maxine, the end of that, just like couldn't care less. I literally couldn't. It was, I didn't care about her father or the cult. It just felt like another movie that totally derailed anything that movie was trying to do or say or whatever. What a bummer. Next up, bummer alert, long legs. At the end, their legs weren't long enough. And that was, no. Long legs. The second that it was the real deal with demons and whatnot, and then, but I'm not even talking about the supernatural turn or the commitment to the supernatural. I'm talking about that last scene. She has figured out that it's the dolls. She has figured it out. She shot the doll in the head. We saw the black poof. She passed out. Like, she figured it out. The fact that she didn't even think to shoot the doll first to save her boss and all of that was laughable to me. I hated that movie. Left me with such a bad taste in my mouth because of that scene. It didn't feel tense to me. Exactly. Yum 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 yum. At number 2, In a Violent Nature. Jamie already talked about it. The point of the movie is that we are following the killer, and then you break away at the end just to try to make a point about like nature is crazy, no matter if you're being attacked or hunted by a bear or a crazy amulet walking boy. Like, I just absolutely, it cheated. It cheated. But the biggest cheater of the year by far is Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah.
The whole premise is that this is all footage from that night or newsreels or whatever it is. And then all of a sudden we're being put inside his mind to see what happened. Like, no, that's cheating. That's the easy way out. It's stupid. I don't care if you're going to justify it that like the demon is actually like taking over the camera and like showing you what's inside his mind. It's cheating. I hated it, and it actually truly it was so stupid. It really bothered me. It was cheating. Your script is so clever. You work around so many silly things to get to where you are, and then you just like decide to toss the thread into a fire. I absolutely, that really bothered me. So that's my that ending though list.
Love that.
That was a good list.
That was a good list.
Good
Jamie,
list,
do you
good
have
list.
a list?
No, I'm sorry.
It's
I
okay.
support all of your lists, though.
I do
But-
have two. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I
But-
wrote a list for Jamie.
Oh my god, thank you.
This is the 2024 pregnancy list.
Oh.
We have The First Omen.
Yes.
We have Immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
We have Alien Romulus.
Oh yeah.
We have Azrael.
Mm-hmm.
And we have, this is cheating maybe, VHS Beyond.
Yeah.
Because isn't the monster at the beginning like stealing the babies?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
and then, like,
right. The
feeding
alien
them.
babies.
Yeah.
Alien babies.
I think I'm missing some other ones, but that's
No, but that feels right.
those are some of the big ones. Yeah. Lots of them this year.
That's
Alien
crazy.
babies.
We talked a lot about pregnancy, even if it wasn't like a 2024. Like in the episodes we've recorded, it felt like there was a lot of pregnancy,
right?
movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have two more lists, real quick.
Ooh, give it to us.
One, I think producer Brian had gave this as just like a prompt if you want to, but top 5 episodes we recorded, and I just want to shout out as my top 5 some of the guests that we've had. So
yeah.
On the top 5 episodes we recorded, so Matt Woods for Friday the 13th Part 2, Bree Hart's Horror and Child's Play, I couldn't believe this, but we did Martyrs with Sydney Horror Chronicles this year. That did not feel like that happened this year.
No, that feels like forever ago. Yeah.
It feels like forever ago. Quiet Place with Aaron Albano and Trap with Desmond Sean Ellington.
Yeah.
So fun. And then my last list is CILFs or creatures I'd like to fuck.
CILFs. Oh my god.
Please, I need this list yesterday. Oh my fucking god. This needs to be on the TikTok. Please.
Well, I feel like I need to watch Your Monster because I feel like as a
top of the list.
Yeah.
Top of the list. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll throw that out there as well. But the creature from Lisa Frankenstein, because Cole Sprouse, like, give me, thank you.
All right.
Dan Stevens as a vampire in Abigail, because he's just a beautiful man.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. All right.
And listen, not gonna hold you, Nosferatu.
I knew you were gonna say that one. I knew it. I knew it in my bones.
This is a man that is completely obsessed with you, checks on you all the time. He wants to please you. Absolutely. Who doesn't want that in a person?
I don't know. He's
this
a
also
little
sounds like
needy.
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus.
He sees you when you're sleeping.
He's obsessed
knows
with you.
when
He
you're
wants to
awake.
please you.
I'm just saying.
Well, only if you're good. If you're bad, you
Then
get Cole.
Yeah.
You get Cole.
Well, yeah, you get Cole. Oh, another thing about Nosferatu, I love that they suck the heart from the heart. They just go straight to the core.
Oh
of it.
yeah.
That was awesome.
Gross sounds.
Oh, that slurping. Oh,
Slurp,
it was so good.
Not a,
In the
not a
best
cute
way.
sound.
Yeah, but
That's a great list.
That's a list. Thanks.
Okay. Shall we talk about? So now we're going to talk about two things to end this episode: our 2025 predictions and our 2025 most anticipated. But before we do that, I'm going to read your 2024 predictions and your 2024 most anticipated, and we'll see if it worked out for us.
Great.
Did not.
Nikisha, Your 3 predictions were 1, Maxine will not release in 2024.
Oh, and it did. Okay. Yeah.
Wrong.
Mm-hmm.
2, the new Jordan Peele movie will be about witches or vampires.
Oh.
TBD. Because it's
TBD.
not. Yep. And 3, Ghostbusters 4 will flop. Correct.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. Jamie, your predictions for 2024 were Nev Campbell will return to Scream. Got it.
Correct.
You
I
also,
am pretty cool.
1 for 1. 2, Ghostbusters will bomb. 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
And 3, more movies with awful things happening to kids. I think that pregnancy kind of falls under that umbrella, but also Nosferatu fucking kills those kids.
Oh my god. Yes, he does.
He does. And then I'm assuming because we got the remake of Speak No Evil.
Bad things to kids. Yeah.
Oh, the baby from Immaculate.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
VHS.
Yeah.
It's What's Inside.
Oh, Long Legs is all about bad
Long
things
Legs is
happening
all
to
about-
kids.
Yep. Red Rooms.
Yikes.
Tarot.
Yeah.
Tarot sucked.
Damn. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that didn't even make my most disappointing. That was just
It was just a bad movie. Got
Yeah.
It was so bad. Oh my
Totally.
god.
Well, Jamie's
My-
six
yeah,
for
my-
3.
My worst was Night Swim, Tarot, and The Watchers. Those were just bad films.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
3 for 3. All right. My 3 were 1, Blood and Honey 2 will be much better than the first. True.
Wow, good job.
Beetlejuice 2 will be a dud creatively and commercially. That is wrong. It made a ton of money, and I think that creatively, Tim Burton felt like he was, like Jamie said, having fun. So even though, I think that's wrong. And
I think
then-
the spirit of what you were trying to say is
Is
there though.
Right. Yeah. Mhm.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yes. Scream 7 is postponed and sold to another studio. A24 buys the rights to a horror franchise and fast tracks the movie. That's couldn't be more wrong. All right. I would love to hear your 2025 predictions. Jamie, why don't you go first?
Sure. I'm really struggling with a third one. But I do have 2
Okay.
that I feel really confidently about. So
Okay. Excited.
my first one that I feel the most confidently about is I think that there will be a re-announcement of a Dark Universe happening with the success of the new Wolfman movie. Because if that does well, which I'm guessing that it will, then we will have 2 remakes of the classics of the Dark Universe fulfilled with Invisible Man. And I think that coinciding with the Epic Universe theme park that's opening up at Universal, I think that Dark Universe is like back on track.
Well, they've already announced a Mummy movie as well.
Nice.
They just haven't like officially said ever since
Yeah,
the
yeah.
last Mummy remake flopped with what's his face?
Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They canceled their plan. So I feel
Yeah.
like they're like this time it's really it. So
Cool.
that's what
Into
I think. I think they're gonna do that.
Okay. Number 2.
My other one, it's a little bit more vague, but I do think that like the themes that we're going to be seeing in 2025 are going to be connected to the political shifts that we're also seeing in this coming year.
Oh.
So I feel like I know we've seen a lot of like pregnancy. Part of me feels like we'll see more of that maybe because of like restrictions on bodily autonomy. I'm also thinking more like just like family horror in other capacities. But yeah, that one of my like go-to thoughts, horror is a reflection of our culture and what's happening. So I feel like with how things are going politically, we're going to see more of that unfolding within the horror genre.
Cool. And any ideas for a third one that we can help you with?
I always want to say something about like a classic slasher coming back, but like it's just, I feel like the legal aspect of like, you know, Friday the 13th or another Nightmare on Elm Street. Like I would love one of those to be announced, but like
Alright.
I don't
So
know.
let's-
I don't know what's happening.
So I put for you one of the OGs, one of the OG slashers will be announced
Gets
to
a
actually be
comeback.
coming back.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, cool, love it. Nikisha, you're up.
Yeah. First prediction is the second Five Nights at Freddy's is going to do poorly with the critics, but it's still going to keep gaining like a cult following because I feel like it's just going to, they're going to keep making them because people want them, but I feel like it's going to be very low on Rotten Tomatoes. My second one.
Wait, how low?
Okay. Between the 20s and 40s on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
How low did you go?
Yeah, I'll stick with that. I'm gonna stay with that. My second one is kind of the same as Jamie. I think that there's gonna be even more slasher movies instead of elevated horror because of the state of current events. And I think just where the world is shifting, it feels like that might be more of the go-to of just, like just standard slasher, and not even just like remakes of old, like just new slasher movies just coming out. Because we have like Hard Eyes coming up, and I just feel like that's gonna be a shift. And then the third one, I'm just gonna make it a thing where I'm just gonna always predict something about Jordan Peele. So I am gonna say that I think Jordan Peele's next movie that is written and directed by him, because he's producing a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But that is written and directed by him, will be some form of a solid creature feature.
Great.
Yes.
Okay. My three are. So I have a Jordan Peele one. His movie Him will either be his best or his worst. It's not gonna like fit in the middle. It's either gonna be like his absolute best or like this is the one where he needs to like take a step back and be like, what's happened? Like, why didn't it work?
Yep.
My second one is Megan 2.0 will completely miss the mark because it just can't create or recreate the magic of the first one.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then my third one is a horror movie will win an Oscar this year.
I hope so.
Whether that is
please,
whether that is like Nosferatu winning like cinematography or something like a one of the technical awards, whether like somehow Demi Moore has a push and she like wins or something, like I think they will or The Substance wins like original screenplay or something, like I think or makeup. I think that's gonna happen.
Nice.
Cool. And those have been our 2025 predictions.
Woohoo.
All right. Cool. Love it. Okay. Now we're going to do our 2025 most anticipated. But before we do that, we are going to define what ours were from last year and if they hit the mark.
Yikes.
I'll start with mine this year. So these are my top 5 most anticipated. At number 5 was Beetlejuice.
Oof.
At number 4 was The Wolfman before it was moved to 2025. Lisa Frankenstein at number 3. Maxine at number 2 and Nosferatu at number 1. I had a very disappointing year, I would say.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Jamie, yours were 5 Trap, 4 Alien Romulus.
It was okay.
3, Lisa Frankenstein.
I
You
was
hated
fine
it.
with it. It was fine.
2, Maxine.
Oof.
And number 1, Nosferatu.
Yeah.
There you go.
Woohoo.
Nikisha,
Mhm.
your list is fucking wild.
I'm sure.
At number 5, A Quiet Place Day 1.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Okay.
At number 4, Beetlejuice.
Ew.
At number 3, Lisa Frankenstein.
I liked it. I had a good time.
At number 2, I don't even know if you saw it.
Oh.
The Strangers Chapter 1.
Oh, I didn't even watch it. Yeah. Dang.
And I don't
So
know
funny.
how or why this happened to you, but
no.
your number 1 most anticipated movie of 2024 was Imaginary.
How?
I
What
don't
was
know.
that on?
I don't know. But
Wow. Okay.
you saw that, right?
No.
Oh, you didn't even see it.
I didn't even watch it.
Amazing.
And I don't know why Maxine would not have been on there. But
I don't know. Maybe I wrote it wrong, but
no, you're probably right because my brain is my brain, so I'm not gonna second guess. it.
Whoopsies.
That's funny to me. Wow, good content though. I did not watch the top 2 movies.
Okay. Jamie, why don't you go first with your top 5 most anticipated films for 2025? I don't know why I said it like Fox. I'll say. What are your 5 most anticipated films of
That's it.
2025, the year of our Lord and Savior, Nosferatu?
Yes.
What's happening?
I don't know. Anyway, what are your top 5? All right.
Okay, so I accidentally wrote 3, but I'm gonna give you 5. So I think that do I go from least to most?
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever I want. Okay. Right now, anyway, my 2 of my top most anticipated are The Monkey
Mm-hmm.
and Wolfman.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I see that Wolfman trailer, I'm so ready.
Invested.
Very invested. And I know that you just shit on our girl, but I am still excited for Mithrigan.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
not be. She's just a fun.
Oh,
she's a
I'm
fun
excited for
gal.
Mithrigan too. I Mithrigan 2.0.
Hopefully, it'll be better than we think.
Yes.
You have also referenced this movie before, but Drop
Mm.
sounded interesting when I was looking up the movies that were coming out this year. And then legacy sequel with Bloodlines in the title, Final Destination.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but I am excited that we are getting another Final Destination. It's been a while since I've hung out with that series, and I'm excited to revisit it.
Yes.
Nikisha, those are good. What are your 5?
It's very good. The new Saw. Saw 11. Seesaw. The new Conjuring, even though I know it's probably gonna suck, but I love the chain, so I'm gonna support it. Same with I Know What You Did Last Summer, because there's another one of those. Yay.
Right.
And Mithrigan is definitely on the list. And then Companion, because Jack Quaid is in a shit ton of movies coming up, and I'm obsessed with him. I need the boys to come out soon. And then the top one is Wolfman as well, because like Jamie said, every time that trailer comes up, I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Wolfman.
Yeah.
That's his theme song in my head.
Wolfman.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was doing. I don't know why. Oh my god.
Okay. Mine are at number 5, I have Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Ooh.
At number 4,
Frankie.
I have the Ryan Coogler Michael B. Jordan movie Sinners.
Oh right, were you playing a
Ooh,
twin?
yeah.
His own twin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that.
My former boyfriend.
Yes.
Yes.
At number 3, I have Jordan Peele's new movie, Him. At number 2, I have Wolfman. And at number 1, I have 28 Years Later.
Yeah. There's some good
Your
stuff
list
that's
is
coming
really
out.
serious.
What'd you say?
Your list is really serious.
Yeah, it really is very serious.
Yeah, throw like a fun one in there.
Mithrigan.
Yeah, that's
I hope
right.
Mithrigan is just as much fun in the theaters.
What's her new dance gonna be?
Oh,
don't
right. The floss.
It's got to be some like a quick movement kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. Some TikTok dance that they're gonna.
Yeah, no one knows.
Exactly. Nobody knows a dance.
Fantastic. Well, is that all of our things?
I think those are all the things.
Okay.
I think we did a good job.
We did, and it's going to be a very exciting next year, just with the lineup of things that already have release dates. But there's stuff that's going to come out of the woodwork. From streaming services to people just throwing movies out there.
It's something that I'm excited for, but on Netflix, the new Fear Street Prom movie.
Oh yeah. That should be.
I wonder if that'll have some CILFs.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's so funny.
And I'm wondering, well, they probably won't be able to get it done, but if a new Thanksgiving comes.
Oh no, it's coming. The new Thanksgiving's supposed to come out next year.
Well, I'm excited about that. That'll
Thanksgiving.
be good. Yes, we love a themed horror, and we got to at some point, guys, go through Terrifier because like the evolution of Art the Clown is becoming like. It's crazy.
I know. That's one of our goals for this year.
Yeah.
We'll do a Terrifier episode, but we'll do an episode where we talk about all 3 at the same time.
Yes.
I'm not interested in doing 3 separate Terrifier episodes.
What if like we weirdly love it?
Maybe.
Oof. You have fun. I would still vote to just do all. Only having seen one.
Yeah.
I don't. The other 2, let's throw it all together.
Yeah, and you're a slasher girly.
I know, that's what I keep thinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, if Nikisha doesn't like an extreme slasher, I'm not feeling hopeful for us.
Yeah.
It was just so much. And I watched it in the afternoon, and it was just such torture porn. And y'all know I love the Saw and all that stuff, but it was like times 100. And I just didn't need it.
I understand.
That's fair.
We'll see.
That's fair.
Yes. Well, that wraps up our episode of our 2024 horror movie recaps. Let us know if some of the things that we liked aligned with your list. You can follow us and tell us these things on our Instagram, on our TikTok, on our Blue Sky at Talk Horror Pod. And producer Brian, where can they listen to us?
Sure, you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. So things like YouTube, hi YouTube, as well as Spotify and of course Apple Podcasts. Rate and review us there. 5 stars, please.
And
thank you. Woo, woo.
Right.
Oh, there's also a VHS coming out next year again.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah, our annual VHS watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's so
Love
fun.
It is.
Yeah,
it's
look
always a
forward to
good
that.
time.
Mm-hmm.
It's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
It's like another holiday. So
Holiday. VHS.
wait, no, we got to end it singing the Sky Riley song.
Oh,
Doctor, I need a new brain. God, no.
Just that one line.
Give me a new brain.
Great.
Gorgeous.
Okay,
Thanks for listening, guys.
Bye. Happy
Bye.
New Year. Maybe it
Happy
happened
New
already. I don't know.
Year.
Enjoy the